Today I'm gonna show you how to make a mod, a crappy mod, but it works for Gamo Swarm Maximus. This is a 2017 version. This is my first time owning a air rifle. Um, According to some pros out there, the lighter the trigger is, the accurate you are, which it kind of makes sense since I have seen many videos out there where if you pull uh, a trigger with your trigger pulling finger, right, and the longer it takes you to actually fire, you know, with the uh, push or pull the trigger, the longer it takes you, gun tends to lean to one of the sides, either right or left. You know, in my research, I found out that having a lighter trigger makes you not pull your gun to the sides, since it takes only not even maybe a pound or not even half a pound of pressure to pull the trigger. That way, you're not gonna tend to rotate the gun to the right or left or even up. You know, so I'm gonna show you how light this trigger is. Watch. It's not even a half a pound. Not even a half pound. It could be that it's like a quarter of a pound. All right. Um, how I did this, I'm going to show you in a minute. There's two things that I don't like about this uh, gun. I like the gun, but there's two things that I don't like about it. I like the gun; it's affordable. It costed me $200 since it's a multi-shot. It can have a magazine of 10, but I did not like the trigger because even though they brag about the two stages trigger, the first stage does nothing. I mean, it's just a gap. It's just a huge gap that gives you time to get to the second stage, and then the second stage is the one that actually makes your gun fire. So I didn't like that since I couldn't make this trigger as light as I wanted, because no matter how light I get this trigger to be, it's always about 4.5 pounds of weight on the trigger. And what else I don't like about this gun is it produces a huge shock. As you saw it, the gun actually moves. Like, I didn't even hold my gun with the other arm at all. I just had it on the floor, pull the trigger, and you saw the shake, the move of the gun, and that also uh, causes you to miss your target. It's the shake, like it gives a huge vibration or shake, or I don't know what you want to call it. I'm new to this, so I don't know all the expressions of weaponry, but uh, yeah. So this is really dangerous. It's not something that you should do it if you're not familiar with guns, and if you're a guy who likes to play around and aim at the other people with the with the gun. This is not for you, because this can go off by just setting the gun down on the floor or dropping it. It will go off. That's how light this trigger is right now. All right. So um, and warning. I am not responsible for any injuries. If if you make this mod on this gun, I am not responsible for any injuries. I'm not responsible for your gun if it does break, or anything happens to your gun. So this is at your own risk. You're doing this at your own risk if you want to do it. If not, I suggest you don't. I'm doing this, and this is pretty much for educational purposes, just to show you that some things can be modified by yourself. You don't have to go online and buy a $33 to $50 trigger here, you know, or you already have a trigger on. This is an aluminum trigger, so I'm totally fine with it. I just don't like the way it operates. You know, I wanted it lighter, but it's not, so I had to modify it. I didn't want to buy a $30, $50 trigger. I just went, pulled it apart, and modified it. So I'm going to show you how to modify this trigger real quick. And I don't unscrew these all the way. There's no need. Alright, so this part is off. Then there's this roller right here. It's on the side. It goes in here, so watch out for that. You'll lose it. It's easy to lose. It always falls off. I'm going to take it off. See where it sits? So as soon as you take this off, either it will fall off or sometimes it won't. But make sure you take it off and put it somewhere where you know where it is, so you don't lose it. Keep track of it. Also, this part falls off sometimes. Keep track of that. You don't have to take the sniper off, it's fine. But here's the trigger. Okay, so we have this part here. You have to, well, you don't have to do anything pretty much. I did take off this part and the spring here just to see how this functions, and then realize that I didn't have to do anything to this. I didn't have to take anything off. But if you look at the trigger, the top, this here part, my video camera is not that good. It's a computer camera, so it's horrible. But there's a piece of metal, aluminum, right here at the end. All right, that acts as a kind of closer leverage to the point of whatever mechanism is in there to release the firing mechanism. Alright, so what I did is, once you get to this point, look here, look at this trigger, see how it operates, go look inside. There's a metal inside this hole. It's kind of flat, and if you play around with the screw here, if you unscrew it, alright, right here, the screw, if you unscrew it, this metal inside the hole, you'll see that it's gonna go down, all the way down, and it's gonna touch the end of the trigger right here. The top of it is gonna touch it if you pay attention to it. Alright, when you screw the screw back in, again you'll see the metal is gonna go all the way up. Alright, and there's gonna be a gap. You know, that's that first stage, the gap. And then once this top touches the metal in there, that's your second stage. So I kind of eliminated by just screwing in the screw all the way in. I'll put the piece of aluminum in there, which is perfect. It's a 1 millimeter thick aluminum, which is perfect for that gap that I had between the top all right, of the trigger and the piece of metal in there, mechanism, whatever it's called. That's what I did. I just put that piece in there, and then another piece I have put in there, a smaller one which you cannot see. It's really a small one. It's also 1 mm, and it's all the way in there. That piece I added in just to have that really light pull of a trigger. So as you can see, this is all it takes for it to release. Like, not even that. I mean, it's only like this much it takes to release. That's what I did. So I didn't spend $30 or $50 on it. I just cut the piece of aluminum, which is right here. Piece of aluminum, which is about 1 mm thick, I believe, if I know my millimeters and centimeters and whatever. But yeah, so it's about 1 mm thick. And where I got this piece of metal, which is flat, it's not round, it's flat, I got it off the computers. Remember I said I build computers. I don't make money off it. I build it for myself. But this is from the CPU cooler. It's aluminum. So I cut the edge of it, this side too. And as you can see, it's ribbed. So I just took that one piece, cut it in half, then I ended up with two pieces and placed it in the gap. What else did I want to say? Yeah, as I said, it's a crappy mod. I mean, it's the whole thing for educational purposes, to show you that it's possible to modify something without having to buy anything expensive. The new trigger, you don't have to go out there and buy a new trigger. If you can modify your trigger and see if you like it, and then you can buy if you want to buy something that looks nice, some trigger that looks nice, where this can cause a jam in the in your trigger mechanism because it's loose. I mean, I had to glue my first one. The second one I did not glue, just to test it out to see how far I can go with it, and I'm pretty much at the edge of it. I cannot go any further. I cannot add any more of these pieces of metal in there. So it's good enough for me. Alright, so that's how it is. It's simple, easy, and it works so far. I fired about 5 times with it. As I said, the second piece, first piece is glued. If I can show you. Really, camera is horrible. But if I get closer, is it gonna show you the first? Yeah, it's really bad quality camera. But this is the first one. I'm touching it right now. If you can see it, that's glued to this top. Alright, it's glued in. But the second one in there, it's not glued in, which is smaller. It's not longer, it's shorter than this one. And I am afraid that that one is going to cause a jam. So I'm going to take that one out and just stick with the one that I glued in. That's it. Alright, thanks for watching. Always stop by. You never know what I have in store for you to watch.